Have you ever wondered if you're doing things that quietly push people away, but no one dares to tell you? As we grow older, we begin to settle into certain habits. Some are comforting, even wise. But others, well, others can turn into blind spots. You might think you're simply being yourself. But the truth is, the people around you notice. And while they may not say anything, those habits can quietly impact how you're perceived by family, friends, and even strangers. In this video, we're going to uncover 12 ugly things you might be doing in old age that everyone notices, but no one tells you. And I don't mean ugly in the physical sense. I'm talking about the kinds of behaviors that slowly wear down your dignity, isolate you from others, and chip away at the grace and respect you've earned over a lifetime. Each of these signs will challenge you to reflect, not to judge yourself harshly, but to gently hold a mirror up and say, is this still serving me or is it pushing people away? And here's the good news. Most of these habits are completely fixable. The first step is simply becoming aware. By the end of this video, you'll not only know what to look out for, but also how to carry yourself with more confidence, clarity, and grace in your later years. So stay with me until the end because you may realize that a few small changes could make a big difference in how others experience you and more importantly how you experience yourself. Let's begin. If you find this useful, please subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path and turn on the bell so you won't miss any videos. Your support keeps these conversations going. Neglecting personal hygiene. Neglecting personal hygiene is one of those quiet changes that can ripple through your relationships without you even noticing. It often begins with small slips, a shirt worn several days in a row, hair left unbrushed, fingernails that need a trim, or a faint odor that lingers after you leave the room. These details might seem minor, forgivable, but together they send a clear message to others about how you feel about yourself. Hygiene is not vanity, it is a signal of presence. When you care for the small rituals, clean clothes, brushed hair, neat nails, you are telling the world you still value yourself and those around you. When those rituals fade, family members and friends notice and often step back to protect their own comfort, not because they dislike you but because the energy feels different. You may find visits shortening, hugs becoming less frequent, or invitations stopping without anyone saying why. That can feel painful and confusing, but it is not about punishment, it is about human response to signals. The good news is this is one of the easiest areas to reclaim. A few small choices, like wearing fresh shirt, taking 5 minutes to comb your hair, trimming nails, or using soap, can shift how you feel and how others respond to you. Those acts are tiny forms of respect you give yourself and a quiet kindness you offer others. They restore dignity and invite warmth back into rooms and conversations. If energy or mobility are the barriers, reach out for gentle help rather than letting habits slide. People will often welcome the chance to support you. Remember, caring for yourself is not selfish, it is a way to keep the connections you love alive, to show you are still present, and to honor the life you have built. Speaking without a filter. Speaking without a filter is something many people begin to do more often with age, sometimes without realizing how deeply words can cut. After a lifetime of experience, you may feel you've earned the right to say whatever's on your mind, and in some ways, that's true. But honesty without kindness can quickly turn into harm, even if that's not your intention. You might think you're just being straightforward or giving advice, but to others, your words can sound sharp, critical, or dismissive. A comment about someone's appearance, weight, lifestyle, or parenting might seem harmless to you, but it can linger in their mind long after the conversation ends. The truth is, people rarely remember every word we say, but they always remember how we made them feel. Choosing your words with gentleness doesn't mean holding back your opinions, it means delivering them with care. Take a moment before speaking and ask yourself, will this help or hurt? Is it necessary, and is it kind? You'll find that most of the time, your wisdom carries more power when wrapped in empathy. Younger people especially respond to warmth and understanding, not correction or criticism. When you speak with compassion, people lean in, when you speak harshly, they pull away. This doesn't mean you have to silence your truth, just let it come from a place of love rather than frustration. Remember, the goal of communication is not to win or to prove a point, but to connect. A gentle tone, a patient pause, or a simple smile can make your message reach the heart instead of just the ears. So, keep speaking your truth, just season it with kindness. It's the difference between words that wound and words that heal. Wearing clothes that don't fit anymore. Wearing clothes that don't fit anymore might seem like a small thing, but it can quietly affect how you feel about yourself and how others see you. Over time, our bodies change, weight shifts, posture softens, and comfort becomes more important than trends. But sometimes, without realizing it, we keep wearing the same clothes from years ago because they remind us of who we once were. That old shirt, those baggy pants, or that faded sweater may hold memories, but they can also make you look and feel disconnected from the present moment. Clothes are more than fabric, they speak before you do. When you wear something that fits well, feels clean, and suits your current self, it sends a message that you're still engaged with life, still paying attention, still proud of who you are right now. It's not about trying to look younger, it's about honoring yourself today. Well-fitting clothes can lift your mood, improve your posture, and even change how people treat you. Loved ones may notice you smiling more, standing taller, or simply seeming more alive. And it doesn't take much: a comfortable shirt in a color that flatters you, a pair of shoes that feel steady and strong, or a fresh jacket that reflects your personality. Dressing with care is a quiet act of self-respect and confidence. It tells the world, I still matter, and I still care about how I show up. So, go through your wardrobe with love, not regret. Keep what fits your life now and let go of what belongs to the past. You'll feel lighter, freer, and more connected to the person you've become, someone who still values dignity, comfort, and grace in every stage of life. Interrupting or dominating conversations. Interrupting or dominating conversations often comes from a good place, the desire to share your experiences, offer wisdom, or connect with others. But sometimes, without realizing it, this habit can make people feel unheard or unimportant. You may jump in because you're excited, or because you've lived through something similar and want to help. Yet, when others are constantly interrupted or their stories are cut short, they begin to feel that their voice doesn't matter as much. Over time, they may stop sharing or start avoiding deep conversations altogether. True communication is like a dance, it flows best when both people take turns. Listening patiently, even when you already know the point, is a gift of respect. It tells the other person, I see you, I value what you're saying. When you give someone space to speak freely, they feel safe opening up, and that deepens your bond far more than any advice could. There's power in quiet listening, it allows others to discover their own thoughts, and it shows the humility of someone wise enough to know that every story holds meaning. And when it's your turn to speak, others will truly listen, because you've earned their attention through kindness and patience. If you catch yourself interrupting, pause, smile, and say, I'm sorry, please finish, I really want to hear this. That small act can soften hearts and restore balance. Remember, people don't just need answers, they need to feel heard. By listening with love and speaking with care, you turn ordinary talks into real connection. The goal isn't to lead every conversation, but to share it, to let it breathe, grow, and remind both of you that understanding is one of the deepest forms of love. Constantly criticizing kids these days. Constantly criticizing kids these days is something many older adults do without realizing how it sounds to younger people. It often comes from a place of frustration or confusion. The world today moves fast, values shift, and traditions fade, and it can feel like the younger generation has lost respect, patience, or purpose. You might find yourself saying things like, they don't work hard anymore, or, they have no manners, thinking it's just an observation. But to the young, it often feels like judgment, as if everything about their way of living is wrong. What's easy to forget is that every generation grows up in a different world with new challenges, new pressures, and new ways of expressing themselves. When you criticize them, even lightly, it can make them pull away instead of listening to the wisdom you're trying to share. But when you show curiosity, asking questions, trying to understand their music, their technology, their struggles, you build bridges instead of walls. Younger people don't expect you to agree with everything they do, they just want to feel respected, the same way you once wanted when you were their age. And when they feel your respect, they open up to your experience and guidance naturally. Criticism closes doors, but understanding opens them. Instead of saying, "Kids these days don't know how to live," try saying, "Things sure have changed, tell me what it's like for you." That one sentence turns judgment into connection. Remember, the generations after you are not your opposites, they're your legacy. When you choose understanding over criticism, you don't just earn their respect, you pass on something far more valuable, the timeless wisdom of grace, patience, and empathy. Ignoring modern etiquette. Ignoring modern etiquette is something that can easily happen as we grow older because the world changes faster than it used to. What was perfectly acceptable 20 or 30 years ago may now seem rude or intrusive without us realizing it. Simple things like speaking too loudly on the phone in public, playing videos without headphones, or standing too close to others can unintentionally make people uncomfortable. It's not that older adults mean to be disrespectful, often, it's just that social habits evolve quietly, and no one explains the new rules. But staying aware of these small changes shows emotional intelligence and care. It tells others, "I still notice the world around me, and I respect your space." Good manners aren't about being fancy, they're about kindness in motion, giving others comfort and peace in shared spaces. Observing modern etiquette also helps you stay connected to younger people, who often value awareness and consideration. When they see that you're mindful of how things work today, they see you as graceful, not outdated. It could be as simple as lowering your voice in a restaurant, asking before sharing something online, or waiting your turn to speak in group settings. These small gestures of awareness carry deep meaning, they say you still care about harmony, respect, and connection. And when people feel comfortable around you, they want to be near you more often. So don't see new etiquette as pressure or criticism, see it as another way to express your warmth and understanding. The heart of good manners never changes, it's always about love, patience, and respect for others' comfort. Adjusting to modern etiquette is simply updating how you show that same timeless grace in today's world. Oversharing medical problems. Oversharing medical problems is something many older adults fall into without realizing it. Health naturally becomes a big part of life as we age. Doctor visits, new medications, aches, and tests often take up a large portion of our days. So it feels natural to talk about them, especially when you want someone to listen or understand what you're going through. But when every conversation turns into a list of symptoms, procedures, or complaints, it can unintentionally drain the people around you. Family and friends may care deeply, yet constant talk about illness can make them feel helpless, uncomfortable, or emotionally tired. They might start avoiding long conversations, not because they don't love you, but because they don't know how to respond anymore. Sharing about your health in moderation is healthy, it helps others know what's happening and allows them to support you. But balance it with stories about your memories, things that still make you smile, or lessons life has taught you. That variety brings lightness and hope to your interactions, reminding people that you are more than your medical chart. You're a person with humor, wisdom, and a lifetime of experiences worth hearing about. If you ever feel lonely or worried about your health, it's okay to seek emotional support from someone who truly listens, a close friend, counselor, or even a support group. But save everyday conversations for connection, not just symptoms. People want to share life with you, not just your pain. When you choose to focus on moments of gratitude and simple joys, you lift the mood in the room and remind others, and yourself, that even in aging, there is still so much life, warmth, and beauty left to talk about. Being stubborn about outdated beliefs. Being stubborn about outdated beliefs is something that can quietly create distance between you and the people you love, even when your intentions are good. With age comes wisdom, the kind that's earned through hard work, sacrifice, and experience, and that wisdom deserves respect. But sometimes, holding too tightly to old ways of thinking can make others feel unheard or dismissed. The world changes, and so do people. What was once common or acceptable decades ago may no longer fit the reality of today's world. When we insist that our way is the only right way, it can sound like we're rejecting progress, even if all we really want is to hold on to what feels familiar and safe. This stubbornness can cause tension, especially with younger generations who are trying to find their own way. Instead of shutting down new ideas, try listening with curiosity. You don't have to agree with everything, just showing openness can mean the world to someone who's trying to share their perspective. Ask questions, try to understand where others are coming from, and remember that learning never truly ends, no matter how old we are. Flexibility of mind is a sign of strength, not weakness. When you show that you're willing to grow, you become someone others want to talk to and learn from. People admire elders who are open-hearted, who can blend wisdom from the past with understanding of the present. You don't have to let go of your values, you only need to make space for new ideas beside them. That's how true wisdom grows, not from clinging to what once was, but from embracing what still can be. Openness keeps relationships alive, and it reminds everyone that growth has no age limit. Moving without awareness of space. Moving without awareness of space is something that can happen gradually with age, often without you even noticing it. As we grow older, our balance, reaction time, and sense of space naturally change. You might walk a bit slower, stop suddenly to think, or move closer to others without realizing how it affects them. These small actions might seem harmless, but they can quietly frustrate or inconvenience people in public places, like blocking aisles, standing too close in lines, or walking in the middle of a path. It's never done on purpose, of course, but it can make others see you as unaware or inconsiderate, which isn't fair to your kind heart. The truth is, being mindful of how you move is a simple but powerful act of respect. It shows others that you're still alert, considerate, and connected to the rhythm of the world around you. Paying attention to your surroundings, noticing who's behind you, giving space for others to pass, or stepping aside with a smile, sends a quiet message of grace. It helps you move through life with dignity and calmness. If your movement has slowed or balance feels tricky, take your time, but stay aware. Using a cane or walking aid proudly is not a weakness, it's a sign of wisdom and self-care. Being mindful of space also helps prevent falls and keeps you safe in busy areas. The more aware you are of how you move, the more confident and respected you'll feel. People appreciate those who move gently, thoughtfully, and with kindness toward others. Every step can show your inner grace, a reminder that aging doesn't take away your awareness or dignity, it simply gives you new ways to express it with calm, care, and elegance. Making jokes that don't age well. Making jokes that don't age well is something that often happens without bad intentions. Humor is a beautiful thing, it connects people, lightens heavy moments, and shows your personality. But sometimes, jokes that once made everyone laugh years ago can sound hurtful or offensive today. Times change, and so do people's sensitivities. What used to be seen as just a joke might now touch on topics like gender, race, appearance, or lifestyle in ways that make others uncomfortable. You may not mean any harm, you might even be trying to break the ice or make others smile, but the impact can be the opposite. People might laugh awkwardly or fall silent, not because they don't like you, but because the joke makes them unsure how to respond. When this happens often, it can quietly distance you from younger friends or family members. The good news is that true humor never gets old. Kindness, wit, and a touch of self-awareness always make people smile. Try sharing funny memories, gentle observations about daily life, or even laughing at your own small mistakes. Those moments feel warm and real. Humor that lifts people up instead of putting anyone down has a timeless charm. It shows that your laughter comes from a place of joy, not judgment. Pay attention to how people react, their expressions tell you more than their words. If something doesn't land well, smile and move on. Learning to adapt your humor is a sign of emotional intelligence, not limitation. Remember, laughter is powerful, it brings people closer when it feels safe and kind. So keep your sense of humor alive, just let it evolve with the times. A good laugh shared with empathy never grows old, it only grows deeper and more meaningful. Acting helpless when you're not. Acting helpless when you're not can quietly take away your sense of strength and independence, even when it seems harmless. As people age, it's natural to need more help at times, maybe with lifting things, using technology, or getting around. But when you start asking for help with things you could still do on your own, even small ones, it can make others see you as less capable than you really are. You might do it out of habit, comfort, or a desire for attention and care, but over time, it can unintentionally make your loved ones feel burdened or frustrated. They may begin to do everything for you, not realizing you still want to feel useful and independent. True strength in aging comes from balance, knowing when to ask for help and when to try first. Each small act you do for yourself, whether it's making your own tea, folding your laundry, or learning to use a new device, reinforces your dignity and confidence. It also shows others that you still value your independence. People admire elders who stay capable and determined, even with small things. And when you genuinely need help, your family will gladly offer it, because they'll know it's real, not habit. Dependence can make you feel cared for, but independence makes you feel alive. Try to challenge yourself daily, do one thing that reminds you of your inner strength. You'll notice that it not only lifts your mood but also earns you quiet respect from everyone around you. Aging doesn't mean giving up your ability to act, it means choosing when to lean on others and when to stand tall on your own. That balance is what keeps your spirit strong, your relationships healthy, and your heart full of pride. Pretending you're always right. Pretending you're always right is something many people fall into as they get older, often without realizing it. After all, you've lived through decades of experiences, faced challenges, made mistakes, and learned valuable lessons, so it's natural to feel confident in what you know. But when that confidence turns into the habit of always needing to be right, it can quietly push people away. Constantly correcting others, dismissing new ideas, or refusing to admit when you're wrong can make loved ones feel unheard or belittled. Over time, they may stop sharing their thoughts because they expect to be overruled. What's sad is that this behavior often comes from a good place, a desire to teach, protect, or help, yet it ends up building walls instead of bridges. True wisdom doesn't shout, "I know better." It listens, considers, and sometimes says, "You might be right." Those few words can soften hearts and open doors. When you allow others to express themselves freely, even if you disagree, you show humility, one of the most beautiful signs of real strength. People won't remember every piece of advice you give, but they'll always remember how you made them feel when they shared their thoughts. Letting go of the need to win every discussion doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise enough to value peace over pride. Listening more and correcting less invites closeness and respect. It reminds others that your experience is a gift, not a weapon. And when you do share your perspective, people will truly listen, because they'll feel that it comes from understanding, not ego. In the end, being right isn't what connects us, being kind, open, and willing to learn always does. Take a gentle moment to reflect, which of these habits surprised you? Which ones feel familiar? This isn't about shame, it's about noticing. Small, intentional shifts in how you speak, listen, dress, or move can renew the relationships you care about and deepen how you experience your own life. Aging well is less about clinging to the past and more about choosing presence, humility, and kindness today. If one or two of these nudges resonate, try one small change this week and see how people respond. We grow stronger not by pretending we don't change, but by choosing the character we want to carry forward. If this helped, please leave a comment with one thing you'll try to change and don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path for more honest, caring guidance. Thank you for watching, see you in the next.